Why is it doing? Nobody's here. But I'm on. Hello.
Hi. Gold star for me.
Yes. I was just thinking, I hope people remember. They'll just show up soon, I bet you.
And all of those,
Okay,
he's getting coffee.
nice.
So there's that.
You guys have been open quite a bit.
What's that?
You guys have been open quite a bit.
Yeah, you know,
Nice.
we opened earlier this year, we tried something new, it's how the people stay until everything was working. We tried 2 days a week, starting in February. But we just wrapped up our. Close to. So we're in the weekend still,
Okay,
yeah, so.
Okay.
Although this even was early for closing, because, you know, we've seen.
Yeah.
They see them so going strong, but. I have, you know. A tour guide out of town for 2 weeks, she had one of their vacation, so. Now. I had nearly 300 already, they just came down to like 85,
oh gosh.
so, I've been in the thousands.
Ooh,
I'm probably in the 500s right now.
Yeah.
I'm hoping my work email.
Yeah.
My school rate is. There's a problem.
Oh, thank you.
Make sure I.
But once when COVID started, that's one of the things I tackled, and so I was in 2003. And I'm just in fear that all happens.
Is it a lot of junk or, yeah, just weeding through it?
You still have.
Yeah.
I just.
Hey Kevin, how are you?
Really,
Howdy. What's up with the big pile of gravel in your front?
this year is going to be grappling the upper and lower line,
Okay,
so that's part of the lease that we have with the museum owns those 2 lots.
right.
And, there's a maintenance, yeah. And so, since we're moving Christmas market vendors down to this lot this year, they're gonna have, you know, some leveled out, spread gravel, so we
Cool.
safe and attractive.
That sounds great. I was curious.
So, yeah, these are,
It's there.
these are a positive forward motion. This is a thing.
That's really long.
Huh.
Hey Jenna, have you seen Bob Hamilton lately?
Saw him yesterday.
Oh, did you see him well?
I didn't talk to him, but Rick was and Mary was.
Okay, cool.
He was,
Bob Hamilton. Don't hurt liaison.
A little late for emails.
Used to do that.
You don't promote, but
I can remember, this. This is before. I got on this. When I lived here 6 months.
that's what I was saying.
Oh, hey. Step in, step up, people.
I was like, a week and a half.
I'm sure. Mr. Bowden was supposed to be getting a coffee.
Where was he getting it from?
The, gas station. So we had a breaker flip at the house, and the breakers are in the cellar. So it's like a big psych yourself up to go into like the previous place on Earth kind of situation.
Yeah, so like, so.
Yeah, it's unpleasant. So we find on these. But
Yeah.
Mr. Boat is in the house.
That's exactly it. Sure.
I don't know,
What?
is that the big word?
No. We made that in the morning. That's the show, I was.
You are exactly in line.
There we go.
Couldn't have done that better.
Oh. And do it live.
Oh.
Really
So she's waiting on the farm.
like contemporaries. No.
Yes. Just need our form.
Okay. Let's come up with some crazy stuff today, and some people.
Down for people that aren't here.
Okay. Who's on the chat?
Oh, I think that's just Jen's. Good morning, it's her,
Whatever it is.
Good morning and thanks for joining the Business Promotion Commission meeting. If you would like to speak to the commission, please type your name to the chat.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your service. The other thing I see if there's Lieutenant Bob. Oh, okay. Lavender. There's. One shake.
Oh, yeah.
Good. You're in gravel. You see,
We just. Four.
Anyone ever watch it? What? Yay!
Oh, isn't it national?
Let's see, is he,
Oh, he's a Chinese.
oh, we do have one attendee. Let me see who it is. It's Steve.
Ah.
Let me promote. Whoops.
It is 8:02 a.m. on Wednesday, October 5th, and I call this meeting of the Georgetown Business Promotion Commission to order. Yeah, roll call, please.
Amanda Cooper,
Present.
Justin Dowd is absent, Kevin Kaharik,
Here.
Paul Boat,
Here.
Mary Smith,
Here.
and we are getting Steve Skalski. I think he's almost ready. I think he just needs to unmute and he could say here.
Here,
Woohoo, cool. So you can hear us?
yes, I can.
We can hear you.
Oh yeah, you can have the agenda approved, but then I amended the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve it? So moved in a second. All in favor? Agenda is approved. There's a quiet morning, Georgetown. There's no one here. And there's no one, is there anyone else? Is it?
No. Nope, that's it.
There's no audience business, and then. Welcome to business owner operator managers, anything new and exciting?
Chef's Corner
I
moved.
was gonna say, we're shut.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So that's the official name of that, it's Silver Creek Tap, isn't that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah. A lot of people in the stand saying, oh, you know.
Okay. I think it was nice.
No. Yeah, those was all and stuff, yeah, so.
And you're planning to come to a meeting eventually. Yeah, that's something.
Oh, Chester.
In a small place and, here. Well, and open yeah, and evening.
Got it, okay.
But Spirit does them like maybe because I'm waiting for them to be used and learn and info so you can get them on the website and all that. They're gonna donate a percentage of sales to the HOA keeping and they'll do it for 1 year.
So welcome to Scooters, Chef Corner moved and we Buffalo's Emporium. Yes, awesome. Yeah.
Oh, Annalise moved. She moved out, you know.
And at least you got.
And then just wanted to then by some data. Okay, that's awesome. A lot of changes on Sixth Street, so. And we're super happy to have something down the road. That's very exciting. All right. Let's get into new business. Jen, take the floor.
Well, really, scooters is, donating for the paper. Other than that. So I'll start with Chile. Chile, it has down to South Sunday, there will be no Chile, that's on Saturday. The first responders, just felt like they didn't want to be participating this year, and that's right, fair, and, so we've got, I think we're at 9 teams for Sunday now, we still really use 3 more, so a dozen would make it really profitable, I'm still working on it, I have a couple of meetings. But if anyone's so inclined, to make Philly, that will be 11 to 3 on Sunday. I have a cool musician coming to play for John Number Day in conjunction with the show, so the family will line up. I think it's by the way with John Number Day. The ZD will be out in front of the hotel on Sunday. Yeah, it needed a bath, apparently it's sappy. But it sounds like we have that under control, so it will be specially walked through in front of the hotel at 9:30. I believe this one is Mark's gonna have it put out, Mark hot here, but somebody else is gonna put it out. I'm also not here on Sunday, so just be aware if there's any kind of Philly or John Denver emergency, you may not answer the phone in the middle of the marathon, running. But I think everything is in line. Everybody knows what they're doing, and one of the things we will have a street closure on Sunday, it's emergency roads. Fortunately, Kelly did approve her to put canopies up in inclement weather, but I think she'd be fine in that. If not, also thank you, in the year, but I don't think she's going. Not that it looks like it's gonna be weather. It looks okay. So hopefully, that sticks, so we get good weather for both of those things, and we're going to Mockingbird, we're going to be on Friday. I think I can know all the things. The real estate about so that's kind of more about the development, and the law, as I said, come off some of it before we kind of knew what was going on, but that's been on social media. So. They'll be here soon. That's what I know about them. They weren't found the press release, my press release on the people that we had with the itinerary yesterday to that, the photo contest to go live today, if I get that figured out. We may have to up it, but right now, we can at least have a starting point with the new version of sort of that we used last year, but this looks like a suit up. Better way to go, so hopefully we'll be good with that. I mean, I got a new truck for sure, and still locking in vendors. Not entirely sure about where the food truck will go, but I'm also gonna do the street closure today. We're still 30 days out, so anything I'm looking at, I want to. No. Well.
Business as usual for the most part. Even when you go.
Okay. So I think we're on track for everything for Bighorn. Yes.
If something comes up with John Denver, let's say, someone can call. Because I don't want to. I'll be down around. All up here, there's no.
Perfect.
So.
I know music has Rob's number and then the sound, Jake the sound guy, and we all have Jamie's info just for Chile connecting all of those things, but yeah, let's figure that out and he's missing. Let's see what else did I have. I have been working on replacement Christmas decorations with the funds that we were given in addition from parks. I have all of 6th Street pretty much done, with the exception of the lights. There, it's all reserved, so we know we have inventory. We just have to finalize it. We are, the kind of the decision was to use the leftover last year's Christmas decorations to do something on our theme, so something is better than nothing. And sort of picking apart what we have up there, but new wreaths, garlands, bows, all of that for all of Victory is done. Just working on the across the, I don't know how you want to say it, whatever, the lights that we put across. The proposal was to have something more of a patio light that we can keep up and not necessarily have to take down. I know that's been a thing, so I'm just throwing it out there, but that's what has been discussed. Not to interfere with dark sky, they got to come in and shut off before dark sky would be an issue, but instead of having the garland with the little lights, just something that we can not take down because it's part of the hangout every year. We don't ever have to turn them on. That's it. But I'm just. I have not, I haven't heard anything. Maybe we just need attention. Yes.
Steve, can you hear those guys?
Hardly.
You can't, okay, shoot.
So, maybe Steve, can you hear me now?
Very, yes, but it's very quiet. It sounds like you guys are on the other side of the football field.
Here, maybe if I turn this up.
So.
Just
Debbie Jordan was just talking about Christmas decorations and lights strung across the street. And the potential of somehow after Christmas and after Garland would be removed, having those lights remain strung across the street. And you did a lot of research and spent a lot of energy on that issue a year or 2 or 3 ago. And maybe you would just like to share where that rested. So Jen has some of that information, and you can explore that now again.
So is the question what had been done before and where does all that exist?
Yes,
Yeah,
So Justin did all the work on that and he should have background for it, our vice chairman.
Okay, I think that's doesn't. Instead of the garland with the little tiny lights like we've always had, doing more of a patio light that can remain, even if we don't turn them on, but that can remain. So I just wanted to know kind of where that's good, but it doesn't, the guy, I think he doesn't.
Yeah, he would have all the background and he made proposals. I think they even priced out some lights. They looked for lights that I can't remember, potentially would have abided by they may not have abided by dark, the dark skies and all of that, but he would have all that. He should have all that at the tip of his fingertips.
Okay, I'll reach out to Justin about if that, where that stands.
I have a question. If you're saying leave the lights up after Garland or put your moments up after Garland and use those for Christmas instead of Garland and stuff?
So we have a garland that's supposed to across the street, but the light, they would be attached to the lights themselves, so we can remove the garland and leave the lights on.
So you're changing from Christmas style lights so you're completely changing the tradition, right? So you're changing the color even?
All the lights are white.
Yeah, that completely changed everything. I think that's a bigger issue. Stuff popping.
Okay. Well, and that's what I mean, I don't want to
Yeah,
move forward.
I like the idea of I have no problem with lights across the street or whatever, but they are Christmas lights, not large lights on. They've been that way. I mean, you don't have to always do things the way they always go, but one charming thing about this town is the colored lights that are Christmas lights strung across the street.
The consensus from the committee was to go back to white lights that they were originally and like how it's lit up for the Christmas gift. And if you look at some of Gary Haynes, we went back, there's on the committee, so we went back and looked at photographs that he took back in the day where the lights were white instead of color. And we felt like when we need to bring this to somebody else, do it before we enter it. We should do it before we, it's gonna be an issue, but the consensus was white lights in town, colored lights in the street. To make it pop and be fun and kid friendly, and have all that fun, you know, free and stuff part, but that's how we have to go back to the white lights, and they were that way originally, I don't know when they switched going. I can look, but we did go back and look at photos to try to make that determination, but if you think, I mean, I don't know all this stuff, I'm not gonna decide what we should do. But if there's something we need to bring it to,
No, it's just weird, you're gonna hear from people, because there used to be other, things for at least 13 years.
which other lights,
And they've been used to Christmas lights and garlands, not lights that change to patio lights, they're completely different form of lights.
they'll still look like Christmas lights, we're not talking about the Dr. Ball lights, we're just talking about a bigger, like. That could be a brand. And I'm not married to that idea, but what's the idea though, everybody that I talk to is very much. In support of going back to that, but again, I mean, how do I, look at the way you go up?
When you guys have a summer, when you guys, that's the consensus of that committee, that's not, you know, where it's like, then us, in my opinion. That's like a needed verse,
That's true.
you know. I think that's your purpose, and I think that's information that, I'm not going to committee, can you do that?
Yeah, it's nice for communities and that, you know, they need different stuff that trend needs. So that's the thing. That trend, then they spread the 90s to trend in the, if you took the 20th century, the lights came in, they were part.
I think that, regards to like, I'm so sorry, I'm going to cut you off, Paul, but I would just touch on the PRC. Understand that, because that was the biggest intention in this early conversation was PRC. Sure. And it was there, I had a very specific conversation with a very prominent member of PRC about the quiet door. Is amazing person, but she was very clear that one of the common views of history can't be obstructed with anything in the back.
That's why they removed all the wires down in the 70s when they changed the streets, they took all the wires going across the streets to keep the views going.
It takes up.
Yeah, what is that, that's given an exception for Christmas.
Yeah, no, that's not even there, that's.
So be aware of that, because all of this can be spun out. And you.
Not in any way, this idea, this was something that just was brought up as a possibility, and I will explore it further, but I'm finding that being a Darwin. Now, if it's going to be, like a convention, it is something that we'll want. I'm happy to look into that. So I'm just trying to answer to the people.
So. My
You've got so much pushback for that reason. I'm trying to fix that. And go you would, or not anyway, but for example, yeah.
One of the things that I'm hearing in this conversation, and one of the things I'm concerned about this conversation is the staff impact for the town and the cost of that. Like, what is the return on investment for the town? I know we have a sharing picker now, and so that's a step in the right direction. But I think that always needs to be part of the conversation is the cost of putting it up, the cost of putting it down, the cost of storage. Not just the units.
This way will be a lot more effective than previous. I mean, there are maps run, all that staff will have to do. Because last year they kind of had to be decorators, and that's not really their wheelhouse, and I don't want them to have to do that again. So we've taken on what's more of a labeled, this goes here, and then.
So let me respond to that too, because I really appreciate it, because that was one of the first things when we just started these early discussions on this. And we were kind of moving in the direction of hiring a company to come in and do everything. And when we got the numbers back, to the operations. And it wasn't even a cost efficient for us at all. If we had a lot of money, then yes, we would rather use our staff time for other things. And in Brush, we looked at the same thing. We concluded even in Brush, we had 6,000, population, and we have a lot more money there than we do here. And it didn't work there. We looked at it here and it didn't work here. So we're kind of going back to what still works,
what needs to be replaced, let's focus on replacing what needs to be replaced, and the next year we'll do another section until, you know, and then I think we formed a committee for the purpose of getting them to think critically about it, and then letting them start initiating, into the community, gain support to help set this stuff up. So we kind of, you know, not put all the burden on just the town staff to get this done, which I mean, I heard some of us will volunteer to do that as well. But it is a big burden, but it's at this point, it's not all efficient for us to hire a company to take care of it. Like lease all the lights, and then they take it away. We never had anything, but it takes off the burden as well. We're just not there as a town at this point.
And the other thing, that I just thought of, like, how with turnover on Sixth Street, it's been mostly tenants, but if buildings should change hands, the lights are attached to private property, and if that property owner doesn't want to participate with anything attached to his or her building, that needs to be a consideration of how to work around that. And I say that because I wanted the lights to continue into this block, they end at that block, and then they just be included in the whole shebang, and I think it's more powerful visually. But having said that, the deeds to anything attached to the museum. So we're an example of wanting lights, but we don't want any sort of alterations to our building.
And you're talking about these ones.
The three lights across, yeah. And so I know poles can be put in because at Rose and Sixth Street, where Library Park is, there's no one to attach to, so they attach to a pole. And that's the only way I can think of bringing the lights into this block, which of course is another increasing it by a third, the cost. I'm sure you're only going to be 2 blocks, but let's not forget this block. And you would have to install poles, consider visual clutter, costs, and maintenance. So it's a lot to think about. It's really been a huge discussion. It's one of this.
I would say that's a great point that we should put on next year. Because like we're in October, it's October 5th, and then we order lights at you.
They're all, they're all reserved.
I know, but it makes me uncomfortable. Like we're at the end.
Just like, I get my, they're not going anywhere, they're in stock, they're not in a shipping container in the middle of the Pacific Ocean somewhere. They're there, but this is why I'm bringing it up, because I don't wanna, if there needs to be further discussion on this, then I have initially thought.
You're doing, look, this, we've got a power there.
Yeah.
I think too, if you're gonna go find something white land, you're gonna wanna look at in the future and making it more dense, because it's gonna look a little. In the summer, it's not when it's being, if it's when it's going in the future, you said, I think it's being planned for here. And that's aside from DRP and everything else, it's not gonna look good, it's gonna look too far apart, and so you're gonna wanna think of. Doubling at least the density of those lights, so you can match the other towns that we're trying to match with that sort of a thing. But that's a future thing anyway. You realize that the Christmas Day 4 places starts bringing a half price sale this month, right? Next week, I think in 2 weeks. And then when things start to right.
It's like inflation now brings back to normal places.
I know, that's what I'm saying is order, because that's their leftover.
Yeah.
They're done.
They're trying to figure it out because of the cost of storage.
Well, I'm looking at the, let's put it on my list, for us to consider for next year, of taking that, because it is a lot more involved, putting goals here and all.
And
But I like that idea.
And we also have to consider the fact that this all has to be like
Approved.
up
review.
and hung
Yeah.
really by the 26th of November, is the drop dead.
Right.
That's the thing. So, yeah, this isn't our wheelhouse, and I certainly appreciate you consulting your time and your work on it and break your work on it, but I think. This is.
It's only one of them, it's not.
I like that. Forever.
Thanks for waiting on the chair. So that concludes Christmas decoration.
So we're doing Wi-Fi to follow.
I thought it was big or something from the south, and it's wild, yeah.
It was all like, so I'm going with that on that. I'll take the perspective. We have all the colored lights in the world. If we have to go back to colored lights, we own them. Okay.
And I'm sure it'll be.
And your committee is Gary Haynes, Dr. Luther, Kim Moreland.
England and, well, Nancy, but she didn't, but she not.
I think we,
So contribute opinion, but she can. But yeah, that's the committee, a lot of it, and a lot of just town opinions here, for me asking. For people who were upset with the decorations last year, what they wanted to see, it wasn't like. I see.
who owns those decorations that are sitting at Library Park on that end?
I believe they're the libraries,
Are they?
yeah, those that fell from the tree, and I just sort of underneath them, yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Tom Hall, your one.
Yes, that's.
I know I asked.
Now I'm sort of left on my update, went to the tourism conference, and then also, got some good valuable information. I sent out an interesting paper that came from, I mean, it didn't come from there, I've heard it, I've seen it before, the rise and fall of tourism in Colorado. It's really interesting, if you haven't read it, the whole story on tourism funding in 1993, and what happened to the state's revenue when tourism was no longer funded at all. We were the only state of 50 that had zero tourism budget, and the revenue loss from that is still not being recovered, but it's an interesting, I'll keep it on read. But I felt like a lot of the conference was really kind of geared towards that message of promotion of tourism and the value there. I personally attended a very boring but important session on search engine marketing, paid advertising marketing, something we don't currently do. Maybe we can, that's kind of my original background in wheelhouse, so it was interesting to me to learn what's new in paid advertising, why it's still relevant, why it's still important, and something maybe we can consider reading someday. But it was a much better conference than the previous year. I think everyone would agree. Snowmass is awesome. So that was a couple of my days spent a couple weeks ago. I'm waiting for a Strauss Park update. We're supposed to meet. I haven't heard from him. I know he said he wasn't feeling great. But if I'm getting that volunteer program moving forward, I think
He said he's gonna have an update in the board meeting,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
He's gotta do that.
because I'd like to jump in and see what I can do then.
Okay, Calvin, Brian.
Sure. There's a frame. So there's that. I think that's, other than the usual, do we have anybody know any updates with Trump or Treat? I have not heard back from Leslie, but.
I have updates for Harbor Street.
Okay.
So as of now, I believe she told me all the paperwork is filed. Is that, has she filed?
Yeah, she's come in, I'd have to double check to make sure everything.
If,
yeah,
if there's
filed
any
her-
fees involved, I told her that there would be a sponsor for the fees, so just,
Okay.
he needs to, or you can let me know, and we'll cover her fees,
Okay.
yeah.
I
Okay.
think the food truck was
The
like.
food truck is the thing, but I mean, it's for 2 hours, I mean, it's up to you guys, really.
I mean, I would prefer to leave waiting for.
That's what I'm
saying, because it's for 2 hours of activity events, it's really like it's tourism driven events, it's more for geared towards town residents. But obviously that's.
I mean, I was just thinking notifying the neighbors, I don't know if she, because when it comes up on the list, that we can mail it to, it's not like one house, but there's a whole row of people that live right there. I mean, as long as she, and I think she goes around and tells them, but I don't think they care, but. I mean,
Most of the people in the neighborhood, I think, are probably.
yeah. Everybody around.
Like road closures filed,
I'd have to go check.
if they're not,
Okay.
so they're. But yeah, I talked to her yesterday, she does need more vehicles.
That's-
So if you have a cool car, and you want to decorate it in a very cool way, or a Jeep, or a Harley, or a golf cart, or a Toyota Tacoma, what are they? I'm down.
I'm still a bit of remind you of something maybe that. You can, but still on my deed.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to bring products, we need. If she wants to have all four. looks. And it's such a cool event for kids. So,
What's the road closure? Is it all there? I mean, are you closing all 4 lots down?
I don't, that would be a really good question. Last year, the road closure occurred on foot. Because Randy and Jim got there and were like, this is dangerous, and they just put out there. So.
Probably Taos, I would imagine,
Definitely
in the
Taos.
park, and that other road that goes.
Yeah.
It's
Definitely park, and definitely, I don't know if. Rose is close,
I don't think, yeah, because people need to be able to.
I think that's true.
yeah, so,
Make sure I can get the barricade for them to be in facility.
yeah.
For sure.
I mean, well, yeah, it would be hard to close it, if there's more people. To go up, you have to close it, yeah, you just close it, that would be hard. So, yeah, but at any rate, those other roads for sure, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it, she's. Really excited, and the kids are all really excited, and there's been promotional material sent to all of the local elementary schools in the district. Carlson, King Murphy, and Georgetown, and then as well as they obviously do promotion at the middle and high school level as well. So, yeah.
I think that's all I have, but if anybody happens to be on the Georgetown website and happens to see the post when it comes to about Anne-Marie walking for John Member, a lot of really nice comments about the town. I have no idea why that happens on certain posts, and I'd love to know why that generated all these great comments about Georgetown itself and what an amazing town it is, and little anecdotal stories about people visiting and some pictures. It's just kind of cool to see it.
Yeah, I got great crap.
I'm always happy to see that.
And suitors reshared it. See that?
I did, you know, hear that from students. So if you have a moment to look at that, that's kind of fun. That's it for me.
So that's pretty much, I mean, we covered. John Denver's Georgetown and the Big Horn Sheep Festival, more or less, right? We do need to talk about the business mixer. That's the next item on the agenda, and I'm looking for the wrong. The 19th. So. As far, we should we need to be formal invitation out to all of the business owners, today for that, and. We're still going to do it again at school. I'm sorry, I will put that to the spot.
I haven't fully completed it.
That this should work. That starts at 5:30. 5:30. Until 5:30. Steve, will you do beer? I'll do wine.
Guys, if you need me to hear something, it's just not gonna work because I'm picking up every third word. So if you need me, just have Jen call me out.
Jen, would you type YouTube beer for the business mixer at the old school on the 19th of October?
Okay, they want to know if you can bring beer to the business mixer on October 19th,
Yes, I
the
can.
old school.
Yeah, yes, I can.
So you can't hear it.
But I can't hear what you're
hear.
saying. I don't know what I'm saying yes to, but the answer is yes.
Okay, great. Well,
I'm joking. Yes, the answer is yes.
so you can't hear anything.
I heard October 19th beer mixer. I bring beer.
I'm wondering if I can somehow get this closer, since he can hear. I don't think it matters. Oh.
And so the profits don't have to. And so profits.
Is that any better?
Not really.
Was the nonprofit somewhere in one place, is it out of town?
I'm sure we have it somewhere. There's one here, yeah.
We have to have a convenience.
If you need help, I can help you. Have some information.
We have the ability to apply for a
business licenses, nonprofits that we get on that list, we should make that clear.
Well, the nonprofits are on the business license list that I have on the website. So, yeah.
I'm on them.
Can you hear better, Steve?
Like somebody said,
Hi, Steve.
Yeah, I heard, hi, Steve.
Is that better a little bit or not, or does that not make a difference?
Well, let's just keep going and I'll let you know.
As far as food goes, for the event, what do we want to procure, like snack wise? We haven't really put a lot of.
Like, I think Jack Pot Pie and. Like,
Well, no, honestly, at the same meeting as, the Scooters and Chef's Corner.
Yeah.
To provide the food for exposure. You know, the trade. Okay,
Like, we could buy stuff.
I think it's a great opportunity for students to do businesses that are show what they do. And introduce themselves to the broader community. I would start with them.
If you mind approaching them and asking them, and tell, we, it doesn't have to be completely pro bono, if we have a little bit of budget.
I have.
Or tap house or just the tap,
Yeah.
won't necessarily be up and running, they might want
Well, I think
participation, they'll be.
And enhancements like that.
What we're trying to showcase.
Sure.
I mean, as far as, you know. Is we have an agenda for that, right? Or are we just mixing?
As far as the agenda goes. I mean, generally, these have all been kind of loose and informal and just mixing, as we just do. But we should probably have some speeches of some sort, some type of an agenda, talk about what we have done this year. Because I think it's been like 3 years since we've done it, right?
That's what I think should happen. I think each business. Introducing itself takes too much time. You know, just drags on over, and so I think the best way is just an update from this committee since we're the hosts. And then maybe welcome the businesses that have joined us in the last 6 months or a year.
And maybe Jen could put together a deck with a sizzle reel about all the stuff that we've done and.
What about the more formalized introductions for the new businesses for this year only, you know, ones that are come on, we have transition and change.
But nobody wants to hear about hotel affairs. It's part of their lives.
But the, you know, that would, especially we're asking some of our newer businesses to, I like their cuisine, why wouldn't we want them to share a little bit?
Oh, no.
Maybe a sneaky way to get them to give me their blurbs to add to the website.
There are so many shop owners who are so into their own places, which is understandable, that they don't get out and know who else is there, so it's kind of interesting.
I think name tags are important.
Name tags for sure. You wanna order some on Amazon?
Yes. With the town seal and.
Well, Rick did create a cool name, you could play off of that. It's cool. Yeah, well,
Be sure that the first contrast for the venue.
Absolutely.
Probably do if that was Steve.
So we can add theater.
If we're gonna do it on local meetings and business.
Well, yeah,
I don't necessarily like to do it, but we do have cases, we live streaming it, no, but, I have the ability to,
No.
but I would like that was it, by the way, it was facetious. No, you should welcome people to the business, thank you, and then, we have a case, because I don't want to talk actually, believe it or not, the only thing that I've noticed in the past, there have been some well-attended ones, like one at the hotel was really well attended, because we have a hotel. Is that we just really need to beat the bushes to try to get people to show up to this thing, and then to make sure that it's a positive spin about these people. So, multiple times.
The last one?
No. people that yell at each other. And then I'll work on some stuff if you want with you about what certain things that happen, like I'm about to do something for Mountain Jams for your show.
You and I can work on that. She's got,
No, yeah.
you and I can work on it.
So name tags, you don't want a big screen, right? Okay. No music, it's pretty bare in there, it's gonna be, that's the only thing is that big room is massive, so are we doing it in the big room or are we doing it in the smaller room?
This is a small, the small room, personally, but. We can throw in the neighborhood office.
So it's not so.
Well, I just said that, that's not an issue, it's, the music is fine, we can set all that up, I guess, and all that, but. So you wanna be in the hall, right?
I think we're trying to see it before.
I can't even get anything on it. Yeah.
No, I think we should be calm. I think that people move things over and go around, and we don't have to get people up and down the stairs.
The only difference is you have VA, right? So VA is upstairs, is that, and then the rooms are 20, the rooms are.
We're all pretty loud, I feel like we can just.
So it's,
I think the downstairs room is better, but that's my personal opinion. Considering things like-
But you-
And,
you've been in all the rooms.
You'll do the basic draw.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay,
Let's make sure to invite,
small rooms are cozier, upstairs is more conducive to a larger crowd, so if we are repeated, I can change.
that would be my question, do you want me to ask for a response?
Yeah, let's see if we can get her to speak.
And I feel like if people say yes, then they're more likely to actually show.
If I didn't have VAs, I can do it.
But we'll adjust if we have a massive crowd.
I just want to make sure to invite the honorable Rick Kelsey.
Sure, Dylan.
I think, Rick and his administrative staff should be invited, and I think Rick and Lynette should be recognized during the.
And just to.
Yes.
Oh, you can bring your wife.
Gifts.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's said gifts.
You will get tips, but not the type that you like.
Oh, okay.
Also, I think this is a good opportunity for us to actually recruit new people.
There you go. That would be a good catch.
If we can maybe inspire people, because there are members turning out,
Yeah, right.
and we need to keep things moving and flowing, and it's important that we have fresh people here.
Question. When we're inviting the nonprofits, not asking this for a specific reason, we can figure out. How are we extending that to their staff and volunteers? Because. The nonprofits, maybe perhaps an interest in. Some people that are involved in them, I don't know, it's just. How do you want that? Would you invite your volunteers to come?
Not all of them, no, I mean,
I'll hear it.
I would invite my chairman. My chairman to.
So that we're consistent.
And
I mean, gatekeep this event, because somebody shows up, but not gonna be like, get out.
And encourage our profits to attend. Who besides the obvious, who do we, and who do we, besides the executive director? Who are you asking, who are we asking to attend?
The only thing I ever attended is the easy and the invited to share.
How should I word it again about it?
No, I know, it's just a tradition, because if we do that, if we invite a volunteer, not this year probably, because we all been under volunteer. But like, I usually run a roster of at least 26 to 30 volunteers.
But I know, that's why I'm throwing the question out.
I mean,
But they,
who's gonna show up?
but there's, so think of it in these terms, and this is the way I'm thinking of it. Just as your paid staff, how your operations in a nonprofit situation volunteer staff kind of step into that role. And I realize it's a different focus with business promotion, but so I just kind of want to know where our gray lines are being.
I don't think inviting a staff to this either, it's the leadership sort of thing, so I know it's hiring Trish to do it, because we're trying to leadership to meet each other, right, not necessarily frontline staff to meet each other. I think that the whole point of it was to promote, this is my intention, this is my impression of it was always business leadership, meeting together so that we can introduce our businesses to each other and then get to know each other so that we can work better together as a unit in the future while we do our work to help them do their work. That's how I understand. So rather than the entire frontline staff, the entire, support group, it would be the leadership portions of those groups, whether that, if it's nonprofit, it usually is the ED, maybe if there's another director or leader of it, and then, board chair, or somebody's representing the board. That's normally how I see it, but I don't.
Let's word it as business owners and business leadership and with a little bit suggestive.
I would say we need like operators,
Like a business.
yeah, like your manager.
That's a.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too like nitpicky and wordy, like.
Honestly, let's see what the others do.
Yeah. Balance with your value, if you look in, I mean, from some of you know, obviously. A desired attendee and leave it be somewhat subjective to those people to decide what that means for them.
The only sound that ever sticks in my shell is the one about owners.
Yeah, but I think we've made some progress.
As long as it's inclusive of.
Operators, managers, we all.
Yeah, because like exactly. He could move instead of Mark, right? Like exactly.
Right, right. No, you're as opposed to, you're just someone who works with. Business owners. Yeah. But all of those people would be appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not to include work, but I would put it in exact.
correct,
See what it's.
yes.
No.
You and I work on speech. I will take a very loose agenda, but I don't want it to feel like it's constructed. I'll speak, it's fine. I mean, it's, it would be, it's obviously,
Have you grudgingly picked your trust in space?
I would say.
Okay, date and time, one more time, the
5:30 October 9th.
big you.
Okay. Good. We have the wine covered, we have the beer covered, the only one. And if I need to go do like a Costco run, like cheese and snacks and dress it up, I think.
Are you sure because you're really over too next time? We'll work that out.
We'll work that. I'm right here. Everything's fine. Okay, well, it's not quite 9:30, so we 8:40, so we're gonna bypass the director of Clear Creek Tourism presentation. And we will now discuss the League's Navidad Christmas market.
Okay, so it's really nice that the kids are clear on some parking lots, because they're working on houses at the sound.
For the first time ever. Well, since they did so.
So,
49 years ago. Opposite, you know.
so in our previous conversation, we were talking about change, and so I'm going to continue on that previous conversation. As you know, we were discussing the opportunity to, we being Historic Georgetown, who typically coordinates most of the Christmas market. So we've been partnering up with Hotel de Paris. They have been kind enough to, Colonial Danes have been kind enough to give us access to the parking lot next door to them. After they asked the town, down those. Anyway, we're hoping to put a tent in the parking lot. We will find out the details more later today. After this meeting, a representative from Butler Tents is coming out at 11 if you want to wander up there. Really just kind of measuring and chatting our options. Anyway, so it's anticipated that there will be a large tent in the parking lot at Hotel de Paris with vendors, and we're going to request a permit for a beer garden in the tent. So that it could be a secured location. Strauss Park is also going to be included as always for Christmas market in some way, shape or form. We have over 25 vendors that are interested in participating in Christmas market. In the past, Strauss Park could handle 15, that was always full. And then last year we expanded it to probably about another 8 over here, so close to that amount, a little bit more. The Horse and Wagon is a new operator with someone who is familiar, but who has been involved in the last several years. She bought out the company. We do have she has some concerns about meeting the requirements for liability. Like, requires, so we're working on how that can happen. The roundabout, the county roundabout bus, or perhaps the school district will be engaged to provide a shuttle for people to go from the town event parking lot, whatever condition that's in, to bring them down to 6th Street. We'll have a minimal bus route just because of the parking and weather conditions. It's not like they're touring around 6th Street. They're gonna drop them off by the post office in that vicinity, and they can wander down 6th Street.
Is there gonna be a schedule for the buses? So that people don't just like
People on the
crawl
bus.
into my like. It's actually Brian. They just, these 2 women just got in Ryan's truck with the man. And he obliged. And it was so weird. It was like, I don't know who they are. And they're like, we're freezing, please take us to our car.
Oh,
And he drove them back to Coopers and it was like, I think they've been at Steve's place. So yeah,
I will contact, Peter and they'll get the parking lot graded so we can hold cars. Yeah. we can do that. Let's make sure we hold.
So the travel usually starts at the same time, between 10, market is 10 to 5. 10 o'clock, people are still able to pretty much find parking spaces close by, and they know from previous years, but, by 11, the shuttle starts to be used. We will extend the shuttle route down towards Cabin Creek and Microtel again, and let them know. That was kind of Chad down at the end of things last year. One of the staff members at HDI is preparing a brochure, for advertising that could be passed out to people. I'm told it's supposed to be available 1st of November, which is important, I think, to the entire community, so that it can be passed out, distributed to people who might just be day trippers up here, big or cheap goers, and then to invite people to come back for Christmas market. Entertainment is scheduled on library stage between noon and 4. Some days we'll have from 11 to 4. Of course, at noon, the San Lucia singers come down. So the biggest new thing is obviously the tent across the street. One of the things that Business Promotions had pushed the last couple of years, and we implemented it last year, was bringing in some of the activities on Friday. And we've asked the vendors if they're interested in doing that, and we have a lot of interest in that. Curious as to what your thoughts are on that. The school may be available to participate because of the 4-day schedule now on Friday, which would allow maybe the singers. I mean, these are all kind of iffy things.
it depends on if those kids are at Compass down in Idaho Springs. So I will get some information, how many Georgetown GCS students are going to Compass Day. And that would help us know how many we have available. The Friday theme has been fun for families to get used to.
So when the school, yeah, as you know, the school is a vendor, they sell brats. Or brats. They said they were available to also be a vendor on Friday.
That's impressive.
Well, so they say right now. But so that, you know, and we've had conversations, you know, with Leslie as far as the kids on Friday. So anyway, I'm throwing that out there right now to you, not that anyone, I think, would turn it down, but there was a bigger push in past years from BPC saying, could it be, yeah.
I think there's a lot of potential on those 2 Fridays if marketing is targeted to seniors and senior groups. I say that because I, a couple of times at least, have had group tours on the Friday from senior centers because they don't want to be jostled on Saturdays and Sundays when it's really busy. And they understand that the programming will not be, you know, a full slate. That not all the vendors will be there, but the trade-off for them is the lack of congestion. So if the Fridays were to be marketed to an older population, and it's just basically said that, you know, visit us at a less congested time, that is appealing to people of a certain age.
Well, last year too, when we advertised, we targeted it as, you know, on your way up to the mountains, you know, you're already on Friday, you're gonna spend Friday night wherever, not here, we don't care where, but some here. And, you know, it was like the sneak peek, because we wanted to offer, we didn't have the entertainment piece. Available. And I can't say that we would even have, you know, the entertainment other than perhaps the kids on that day, but again, it would be a small, you know, divisional piece of. That, do you have a list of the senior centers that you, no, okay.
I probably think it's a couple of things.
But again, you've got,
Probably seniors and ones.
yeah,
Long,
You have anything?
I have a list because I get a lot of groups this time of year. And I kind of keep a roster of the groups, and I have groups at the Christmas market, and they make reservations pretty far in advance.
Yeah.
Would you want to do a road closure on Friday?
well, it would be, depend on how much we would have going on. I wouldn't anticipate that unless we had maybe the horse and wagon going, we might block it off. I think that
The seniors will never, of course, do that. And that
they would or would not,
wouldn't.
no.
Too much to be seen. Well, sure.
It has to be profitable.
Yeah.
It's true. But the only reason I throw that out there is that she's already made arrangements, you know, for her equipment and her.
I mean, I would just as easily open for tours on the Friday before both weekends. So I could be open. If
You're
there's
available.
a push, and I can be open all day long.
Okay, we do.
Yeah, that's that.
We do have, you know, my whole museum, which has been running a lot these last couple of months, and I think that's, you got a lot of people in and out of there, and that hasn't been open for Christmas market for a long time, so I think that'll be a nice little pocket. So Strauss Park, you know, there's been a lot of activity over there. We can only hope, but we would still expect Strauss Park to be available for, I want to stare at you for my eyes. And we will discuss with the tent rental what the options are to put something up over there too, in front of the stall area, the booth area, if the booths aren't ready. So we'll have that information in our back pocket per se. The booths aren't there, then where are the vendors gonna go? The booths aren't ready. Your eyes are giving me an expression that I'm trying to respond to.
No, I was just saying.
Oh, okay, sorry. Didn't mean to call you out there.
No.
You know, for people who return year after year after year, there's an anticipation and an expectation that they're gonna come to Rose and Sixth Street and they're gonna see something in Stroke Park. And so we would like to continue to fulfill that and have that piece in addition to what's going on further down the street. So, community centers, housing.
Community center or just on library?
Just on my birthday, and then some of the entertainers will come down and they'll do like part of their performance there, and maybe like carolers that actually come in through the tent or whatever. We may have some set up in the tent here. And if it's horrible weather, I mean like cold and windy weather, and library stage would not be conducive to some of the performances, then they will set up in the, we've got this in the backup, the tent would be a backup.
I also say, I talked to Bob Hamilton and Dwayne Kisowski or,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know, but, they are feeling confident that they will have the structure complete before Christmas market. As far as the electricity and the heaters in each booth, most likely not. But we're trying to figure out another backup plan. He's gonna get a quote to see if they can put a power pole out there so that we can tap into that if need be. So it's really cost right now, can they afford that? But the booth and stuff, they feel confident that those will be done.
The electricity. In past years, the vendors always bring some kind of electric gear, okay, it's the only way they survive out there.
So it's
So.
not Christmas market if you don't use a tub.
Right, or should we bring it? So, I mean, that's an absolute conceptual. So.
First on power.
But the commercial is probably gonna be over here running the power from the tree.
So I think they said, you know, but then-
Well.
So I guess my. But the question I have is, and this is just from my understanding, why do we only do it 2 weeks, not 3 weeks?
Oh, God. I can't.
What she's just doing right now, is the amount of volunteerism and expense and everything. And staff time that HGI goes through to make this happen, I'm just gonna speak for you. It's something you can hear how difficult it is to even try to do a Friday with it, because. And by the end of it, people have, and for tradition again, which, you know, I'm obviously a broken tradition my entire life, but. Everybody takes the week after Christmas market off because they're exhausted, because it's the end of the entire season. And I think that probably that, well, I don't know, maybe demographics have changed though, because maybe people are going out to shop more before Christmas than they were in the past. But
Georgetown, the town is honestly, even without, this is pure opinion. The tradition aside of Christmas market always traditionally being the first weekend in December. The train is bringing us so much volume. We don't necessarily need to continue with this like over the top event that brings this amazing vibe to our community and is applying on a million levels. But, so I mean, our dates for Christmas market this year are,
The 3rd and 4th and 10th and 11th.
so we still have 12 days, literally. That we will see, the train book is gonna ride like 5,000 people a day or something insane. It's like 3,000 or 5,000 a day. I should not speak for them. They're riding right now 2,500 to 3,000 on weekends. And so it's on par with that. They do trains because the trains start in the daytime and then they go all the way till there's a train that goes out at like 7:50
Yeah, they will.
at night.
Yeah.
And so you have this whole scope of just their volume that comes to town, and those trains are sold out. They're already selling out. So we don't need, I mean, yes, the economic boost from all of this is incredible, but keeping the town's vibrancy upbeat and keeping the businesses open and afloat and making sure everyone is like managing is a priority that we should focus on. And Friday is a potential, because it's more, I don't want to call it watered down. or mini version of sneak peek, that's a great way of saying it. That's just pure.
Why don't you do it fully on Christmas Eve, just do it full Christmas Eve, Christmas.
I think that's a great idea for the first time for us.
I was seriously though.
There's also Christmas at the Hamel House too.
Yeah, that.
There's all those,
That's not.
there's those are events that happen on the weekends.
Well,
There,
The tree
private
lighting.
Christmas parties, Christmas at Animal House, we used to have this hot people need to, there's all the stuff, and so it's just, I think the volunteer base just is, and the will.
Probably, it's exciting, it sounds exciting.
It is exciting.
Oh, great.
and the other thing too, is it like just, and then on general Christmas, like, it's like town is, I mean, everything is, the entire town is closed on Christmas, nothing is open, and it's a Christmas town. And everything closes early on Christmas.
Except for me, the VC's up there.
You're seeing.
It may be warm, and that's mud still, so we consider straw or something for that area where the grass is gonna go.
In Strauss Park.
If you're gonna use straws, just consideration. We have had years, and I would just be prepared, we've had years where it was so warm, if you're the year we tried to blow snow.
What there, and or it could be, or the ice can be, the water can be coming off the roofs of the booths. And we have a sheet of ice there.
And if there's no grass yet, so that's a consideration. If you're gonna do Friday, you're gonna want to, for me, I would want to have something auditory, so I want to have band music very least. And maybe somebody can fake chestnut somewhere, so you smell something.
There's real chestnuts. And they're really fun.
You want to have fire.
It smells really good.
It's not- Watching business, white lights waiting on the street. is-
On application, what is, sorry, just a quick question on that application, is that process still open, are you still taking them? Tomorrow. Okay. And where do we find it, or just the name, or this is not for me, other people ask too. Other ask me. Okay.
If HGI would like a financial support from the Business Promotions Commission, can they attend our next meeting?
I'm sure a representative would be more than happy.
Because it's.
We'll put it on the next agenda.
They normally come today, I kind of thought we have somebody today, I mentioned it even, but that's here we go. So, yes, that should be on the next agenda. As far as Christmas market goes. I mean, I think we can't make a lot of decisions on the Friday piece here today, I think that's kind of on HGI.
Well, it is,
If everyone wants to support it, let's do it.
like I said, there was just a lot of conversation about it in past years, and so I thought I would. Throw it out there, I think it's all these other pieces come together, because again, remember last year when we did it, when we opened it up on Friday, it was perfect because we had. The opportunity for the vendors who did want to participate to be in Stroud Park, and we had maybe 60% of the vendors there. If we don't get a full, house, it's for one or two, it's not worth it. Even though they don't want to come and sell, but just. Okay, so any other thoughts with sitting around, guys? Okay.
All right, we'll wrap up our Christmas market discussion and report through a very successful market, hopefully not horrific weather. Last year we had that, weekend it was like. Gorgeous. Then we had beautiful weather, and then we'll have that's not my mood well, and then it's not. Window glove.
Yeah.
And window glove. For the third time. My back was on my car, well, 3 times in 2021. I lost my vision. They raised it to 1,000. Thanks.
Well, also, we have money that we can run that. Always one this weekend, one that, one,
And then there's something to do.
Should be.
The Bears in here, we all need one.
Something going on.
You better be. It's very. Come on up. All right. So I have a presentation. Is there a way to share? The application? So how should I try to cite, put it together here and then go through? The USB?
Yeah, maybe you could use this computer, right, with the USB?
Then mine, or do you want mine? I have mine too.
This would probably be easier, and then we could share the screen.
Okay. Do you have it?
Yeah.
I think that'd be easier too. There's the PDF. Open it.
Okay, sure.
So it's gonna be the Georgetown PDF, the second one, the second PDF, Susie's TV, you got that one.
This.
Yeah.
Okay, let me make this small.
Rick, I said you that newspaper or something, Racing City.
One sec here.
We need to make a big deal about it, Yeah, I think we should do a newspaper article.
We have to open it.
You didn't go over, you then you can reference the Racing City article. No, that's what, they started me.
Wait a minute.
I was under the
Okay,
impression it was.
is it?
7.
Yay, sweet. So if, do you want to be able to control it? I can move the,
Chair over here, if that works, and then.
yeah, right, yeah. I'll use this chair right here.
Well, and I can. Oh.
And I'm just gonna be able to.
And then just scroll down, like, is that?
Okay, that's me. That works.
Yeah, just.
I saw you bring it over here. Can I slide it over? So you
Can
can
move
move
it
it.
wherever. I mean, it's hard to go, that's the problem, but yeah,
Okay, I'll just do it.
that's about.
Okay.
That's
Yeah. Okay, okay.
So welcome, Cass, always happy to see you on this Wednesday morning. Thanks for coming to chat with us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to update you. And I made it, I kind of took the slides that I did for the commissioners yesterday and then just adapted them. So I'm gonna give you the same update that I gave the commissioners, but some Georgetown specific information in here also. Hi. So I wanted to start with this and just talk about who my board is. And kind of give you guys a little bit of insight on that. So our president's John Feller, who's the marketing director with Loveland Ski Area. We have Liquid Decisions owner Alan Brito as our treasurer, and then Nicole Nimmers with 1111 Sales, and Cameron Marlin with our rec district. So that's kind of who comprises the board at this time. And then I want to just dive in and talk to you a little bit about what we've been up to. This kind of gives you a time period of April through probably summer-ish. So, we had this incredible opportunity to work with the State Tourism Office and start building a strategic plan. This was an opportunity that brought together the former State Tourism Director, Kathy Ritter, as well as a hired team from MMGY Global Next Factor. It was a grant through the Colorado Tourism Office. And then we brought together tourism stakeholders within the county as well as residents to talk about the future of tourism. Through that, we had the opportunity to really brainstorm and break down our mission statement, our values, and our vision for the Tourism Bureau. Before we were really looking at more, we were trying to get more visitors to the county. We've restructured that to now where, we're working to maximize visitor spending in ways that support the businesses, benefit our communities, and protect our home and heritage. And then we changed our vision statement to everything you come to Colorado for. If you go to our website, it says, welcome to the real Colorado. And, we're really proud of our new vision statement. We feel like it's a really good direction for us, and it's an umbrella for all the marketing that we're doing for the county.
So I like the font, it's super good, like, really.
Fun, I love that font. Probably great CJAT or something. Maybe. And then our values, we had a really hard time putting our finger on just 4 values. And there's too much here to hold into 4 words. And so we really took it and talked about
our goals of being, a sustainable county, how that looks is that's preservation, that's our prosperity, that's our communities. That, we're genuinely authentic, our history, our heritage, we're grounded in all of that. And then, we pride ourselves on being inclusive. As we talked about before, we want to make sure that everybody is represented. We're aspirational, we're passionate about what we do. And then our integrity, kind of playing off the Colorado Tourism Office, we do have that grit. We're not afraid to dig in. We're trustworthy, we're honest, we're transparent. We're always welcome to share with you what we're doing. And then from this, we put together a one-page kind of cheat sheet. This helps us stay on target, figure out what our goals are, help us meet those, the plans that we've laid out. This is something that we have available to any of stakeholders in the community. Just kind of takes the 26-page strategic plan and dummies it down. And then talking a little bit about why we have a strategic plan. We built on this positive momentum and then creating the successful marketing. But now we need to take it a step further and address some of these emerging concerns. I don't know if all of you are aware, but the Boyd Hill project starts next summer, as well as, inflationary pressures, which I know you're aware, and then the legislation and how that relates, because that was just coming out when we were building our strategic plan. So we kind of couple that into this project. So then going back to fall of 21, we started really exploring shifting from a destination marketing organization to a management and marketing organization. So really trying to focus on extending our peak seasons, building the shoulder seasons, increasing efforts to disseminate visitors throughout the county. And when we say that, we're not necessarily talking about public lands. I think that gets misconstrued. We're talking about disseminating people within our county. So they don't just know of one restaurant, they know of a dozen restaurants. They don't know of just one shop, they know of a dozen shops. That's kind of what we're talking about when we talk about dissemination. And then, educational messaging, talking about how to visit responsibly, targeting visitors, qualifying visitors before we market to them, and then managing expectations of our visitors and locals. So we've been doing a lot of this over the last 6 months. And I'm way behind on my notes and project there. And go to the next slide. Okay, so then getting into the Colorado Tourism Office partnership, we were selected for this marketing matching grant in 22 and 21. And we titled our campaign Operation Overlove. And the strategic plan is a big piece of that, but we've also been working on, touch points from digital advertising to smart marketing. We have trail signage, we have, educational materials in and around the county. And the whole goal here is just to, really touch on that educational piece and then help to understand how to work collectively as a county and move ourselves forward. So these are a few examples of things that we've done and the messaging we're producing. We're using WILE as an acronym. So we're saying, we encourage you, to come visit. So welcome to Clear Creek County, welcome, to the real Colorado, ignite your imagination, leave no trace and discover more. And through this opportunity, we've had a partnership with Leave No Trace, but we were able to really bring that brand forward. So we have their logo on a lot of the marketing we're doing this year also, our partnership with the State Tourism Office. And then you'll notice this QR code. I'll talk about this more in a minute. And before I go forward, I'll tell you too, one of the goals in this, in talking to the county commissioners, they had a really good point in our trails are being loved to death and our businesses need more revenue. So how do we connect the two? How do we connect our trails and our CAF officers? So without having to do a big exploration into for every dollar creates this return or, getting more granular, we just put this broad statement of, when you do these things, when you shop, dine, play, or stay, you do help the land because a portion of your money does go back into our trails team and help build our land and improve in, all those amenities that we offer through tourism. These are a few more things that we've been working on. We have a billboard down at Dumont, and it's in a position where it's really hitting a lot of locals to kind of see, that we want everyone to think, what is visit responsibly? What does that mean, and how does that apply to me? We have the new visitor guide out. We have some digital ads, and then we're updating our website continuously with information that kind of corresponds with the live wild, visit responsibly messaging. And this is probably what's most important to you guys. I threw this slide in here. I wanted to talk about, okay, so how does this affect Georgetown? What do you do for Georgetown? And I know you've been asking me that. So I wanted to put together kind of a list of historic things that we've done and ways that we plan to continue working with you. So, you know, prior to COVID, I was a regular attendee of promotions committee meetings. So bringing that back into the forefront, I think is important. You know, working with you on rat cards or the Bighorn Sheep Festival, Christmas market planning. Let me know when you want to do the program again. Scarecrow Festival, 4th of July, and then some of those other fun events that, you know, have come and gone. Hot Rod Hill Climb, Mile High Jeep Club is returning next year. They'll be here in 23. And so I found that out yesterday. The slacker races, Pinellas Pass Hill Climb, the Burro races, just different ways that we help contribute to the exposure of these events or participating in ideas and brainstorming. And then being part of the Scenic Byway Committee for the county and representing Pinellas Pass. Our photography that I've done for Pinellas Pass is featured in the traveling exhibit. It's going to be moving again. It was in it's been in the state capitol, it's been in the airport in Colorado Springs, it's been a few other places, and so Pinellas Pass represented there. And then the Heritage Tourism Campaign we ran with CJ Minor a few years ago, and really highlighting some of your historical attractions and properties, as well as museums, and then continuously updating, you know, the website again for the town. We've hired journalists, we've hired influencers, we've hired different people, and I think it's important to note that when we bring them in, we don't expect a freebie from any of your businesses. We will go ahead and purchase whatever it is they're saying, whether it's their food or their restaurant, you know, their whatever experience they're having. We make sure to cover that so that it's not on, you know, the business owner to provide that. So just a refresher, here's a few things that we've done. I don't know how many years we've been working on the Bighorn Sheep Festival event, but that's, you know, that's something that we like to do. We've updated the maps, helped with the activity schedules, created some, you know, interesting things like this is an iron-on bag design that kids would color and be pressed onto a bag. We've done the rat card, as I mentioned, and then these are a couple examples of the influencers and special authors we've had come to town, the Christmas market schedule. And then we have this Georgetown, Colorado page on our website. And one of our goals for 22 still is even to update that and to make it more robust and flamboyant and talk more about the offerings of Georgetown than just the true history of Georgetown. I think it's still important to have the history, but I want to dive into how to explore Georgetown. So that's a goal that we have for this year. And then this kind of takes it more granular for you. Like we've had people ask, well, you know, how do you track your impact or how do you measure your results? So this is one example of how we do that. We'll take a year-over-year comparison and we'll look and we'll say, okay, well, we had a 26% rise here and a 20% rise here. And these are our top 10 pages and these are our top 10 referral sites. So this campaign's doing really well, or this one, you know, maybe won't do next year. And so we kind of take that data and get real granular and try to understand what's going on with that. I think it's also important looking back, you know, since 2012. So in 10 years, I'm really excited and proud to tell you we've had 1 million visitors, just under 1 million visitors to our website and 2 million page views. So you're saying every visitor has visited about 2 pages on our website and gotten information. So really, really proud of that. And you know, we're making waves. Also, it's also important to notice that 90% is our average of new visits to our website. So on top of that 1 million visitors that we're seeing, 90% of them are not return visitors, they're new. So we're making some pretty good exposure for the county that way. And then going back to that QR code I mentioned earlier. So this is another way we're tracking this specific campaign with a unique QR code that's placed on table tents, trail signage, bathroom signage, and other printed material that we're running to try to check that. So in the last 4 weeks, we've had 465 scans to the website, and we've reported over 11,000 page views. So again, we're getting good traffic, we're getting good exposure, and we'll use this to report back on our grant to show kind of the impact that we've made and hopefully, you know, be able to further track that data. And I guess I'll pause here for a minute and tell you about a really cool project we're running this fall. We were able to work with a team down in Denver to take device ID. So all of your phones sitting here, whether or not they're connected to Wi-Fi or not, they have a unique device ID and they're connected to Godfather. And basically we can tell who's visited our trails in the county in the last 6 months. And then we take that data and we get more granular and we say, okay, we want the people that are living in Colorado in these zip codes that make this amount of money and we want to retarget them. And we're going to advertise them to come back and see us during this flow season. And now we're going to be able to take that data and then further get more granular to tell you these people came to our county as a result of seeing our ad. And if we want to, we can get more granular and find out how much they spent as a result of being served an ad. So we're looking at, you know, some fierce data, again, to qualify our visitors, make sure we understand we're reaching the right demographic and we're getting the right return and that it's really making a good impact for our county.
That's really cool. That's really great.
Yeah. That's why Alexa always knows what you're doing. And then one other cool highlight I'll share with you, we hired another third party to look at the county lodging and hotel industry and kind of give us some statistics and kind of look at that. It's a tough one because it's up to the business owners to really relay that information and share with us what they're willing to. So we had a few gaps that we had to fill in, and we feel pretty confident that we've closed the gaps on room count and pillow count. So countywide, I can tell you we have about 26 total properties, 445 rooms, and 1,472 pillows. And the room count versus the pillow count's high because you have, you know, unique places like, let's say, the Easter Seal Candy Camp, where they have large rooms, but there's a lot of pillows. So that's why the pillow count is different than the room count. And then just to give you an idea of average nightly rates, we looked into that also. We were only able to report on 21 out of the 26 properties because nobody really shared that information. We had to have the company research advertised prices. So out of those 21, the average price is $176 a night, with the highest rate of $364 a night and the lowest rate at $55 a night. And then to take it one step further, the Airbnb short-term rental investigation reported 634 short-term rentals in the county with an average of $356 a night. So, you know, we're sharing that information with the county. They have a team that works on just the vacation rental stuff, so they'll be getting more granular on that data. But you know, again, I think it's just interesting to look at the hotels because we've never really had a pillow count since I've been part of the team. So now we have at least an idea of, you know, where we are now, and then we can see where we go from there.
Do the STRs, are they included in that pillow count? So the pillow count is separate from the STRs.
Mhm. So the pillow count literally applies to hotels, motels, you know,
Communities.
yeah. Mhm.
We have it broken down in spelling.
We haven't done that because we're trying to preserve the integrity of the businesses that cooperated. So we have that data, but we haven't extrapolated it out to share publicly because we promised our hotel industry we would protect them.
No, I mean, yeah, the Georgetown's kind of a like involved with that.
Open house. We might have to do that, Paul. Every we have to, you know.
No, for your particular town. I mean, we're a county with.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Did the 634, are those all licensed or is that? You got some black market.
You know, at the county yesterday, it was a great comment that everyone has the wrong number. Nobody has the right number. And that everybody's reporting differently. So one of the tasks that you have is to go back and find out where this information was pulled so that I can share that because
That's higher than I thought.
Yeah.
634 is really high, I mean, especially with what,
We have 47,
that's crazy to me. We have that.
but I mean, for all the rest of the county to have 500 would be weird.
600, we have 47.
Oh, right, this is the one.
Yeah, we had 47 that we are legal license, and then we probably have maybe double that. I don't know. Probably, I mean, we check it frequently, and they know how to kind of see if they're,
Yeah, we check it.
Yeah.
On the Airbnb,
I mean, it's not, and if it's not a problem that can get solved today, I just think that's really interesting because there is that sort of constant, like, conflict that exists in this particular sector of lodging. And I mean, regardless of what happens with our ballot measure, if you're at the county level, that's a ton of uncollected revenue that exists for municipalities and the state.
Yeah, also the unique cell phone data going to individual properties in the town and then take that again. Who was a regular visitor? and
And the ring cameras. that-
Thanks to time.
fabulous. I love that.
This is not unique to our county. Our county is in any state, city, whatever.
There's a really interesting article that I was reading yesterday, it was in Washington Post about Hawaii. They're short term. rental. And it makes the Colorado short term rental situation look like China's butt.
Oh my God.
Like literally, like Hawaii is homeless, like they're living in like tent cities. And the unregulated STR industry in Hawaii is like destroying the entire like fabric of violence in the indigenous population. It's really bad. So, yeah, so anyway, sorry, that was just a little anecdotal thing I had. to
I love
ask.
it. No, I will make no, I will come back. I will circle back with you once I find out some of this data, because this just happened yesterday and I'm gonna totally play off that ball and see what I can do with that. But that's really,
But that's really awesome data just for us, for our own knowledge. I mean, it's because, you know, as we get into situations where we're doing, you know, marketers get marketing for Christmas for kids. Is probably our most good example to be able to point people to lodging when ours is sold out, so they're low side. And having options for people to still be within the county. And knowing that we have, this is more than I realized. And I mean, like Easter sales, I never thought to be like, oh, that's what we like, go with the cabin Easter sale for Christmas market. Never have I want to stop that, so that's really cool.
that is. So next I wanted to touch on this, and talk about, you know, how our organization connects with the community and, what we do. And so from, you know, meetings with elected officials to chamber members, promotion committees, and then, you know, working with the visitor centers and the community centers. We've been doing that a lot more. Our goal is to turn our new offices in Idaho Springs into a mini information area. So we have an airlock in the front of the former resource building to turn into a little information area. So we've got some brochures, racks on the wall. We're gonna order some benches for outside. It's a stop for the prospector bus. And then it has a big bulletin board inside. And so we don't have bathrooms, but we have an ability just to share information. So we're hoping to make that connection. So again, we're working with our visitor centers and our community centers to try to fill that and make that look as best as possible. And then, you know, really working to build, you know, the resident and stakeholder strategies and connectivity from the strategic plan. You know, it's a little bit more of a difficult undertaking. But, you know, right now with the budgets the way they are and all the different things, one way we're gonna try to do that is revamp the town pages on our website and really work to drive more connectivity to the towns through our page, and then also put the towns, you know, above the fold, if you will, on the front page, so that there'll be more, you know, just slippery movement into the town pages from, you know, from the start of the page. I'm getting tongue tied. Additional ways we collaborate with the community, holding different workshops and strategic planning workshops. We work with the sheriff's department to build the backcountry survival cards and other information. Working with the Bighorn Sheep Festival again. We work on some of these recovery task force, including Idaho Springs, special meetings with business owners, the Argos one, recent one I've had, rafting industry meetings, special event planning meetings, county trails and mapping department needs. And then we recently joined the committees for Northern Colorado Places and Clear Creek County, as well as I think there's 5 other counties that are represented in that partnership. And then the county just started a larger grant talking about recreation, so that outdoor master planning project, a part of that committee also. And then finally, moving forward, just wanted to talk to you about some ideas I had for the town of Georgetown and for us. I think one big thing I've heard is, exploring 6th Street and how we can work with you to create some kind of marketing campaign specific to the town, main thoroughfare here, and wanting to see about getting someone from promotions committee to join the tourism bureau, so that we can make sure we stay connected on both fronts. And go back to, when I came on in, 10 years ago, the effort was to be a liaison between the towns and really connect, what this hand is doing and this hand is doing. So we weren't duplicating efforts. We weren't driving up the cost of keywords or pay-per-click and, different things. And then also taking marketing dollars, making go further with our partnerships at Visit Denver and the Colorado Tourism Office and, bigger magazines like 5280 and things like that that are expensive to buy into. But when, we're doing it to market all the communities, it seems to, help that way. And then, on our end, we're going to continue to build on the goals of the strategic plan, some of the things that are outlined there. And then our budget for 23, even though, we have a lot of changes and things that are happening with our financial, we do have some reserves due to COVID, and generally we like to keep a year of operating expenses, for the unforeseeable future of what could happen. And, so we're not in a terrible position given all of the changes of landscape. And I just want you to know that we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue to market the county. We're going to continue to, do what we've been doing, but change it in a way that works better for the community as our mission statement, and follow that new direction. And so I appreciate you, considering us and thinking of us, and, this opportunity to come and talk to you a little bit about what we're up to and how we've been working, for the county. And any questions you have for me, I'm welcome to, and thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks. I'm sure it's just going to run. I know there's questions, so.
How many board vacancies do you have?
Well, 3 for sure. I think we can seat up to 5 additional.
I mean, whoever has.
I want to commend you. You were mentioned, Clear Creek County and the Tourism Bureau mentioned multiple times at Tourism Office as leaders in the Care for Colorado program. And that work is pretty amazing because it is about targeted tourism and getting people who care about our way of life and our resources as much as we do. So congratulations on that. You were put up there as a big leader. So thank you.
Nice work. I have a question about the geo. You mentioned. So cool. That's so cool. So do you have any data points you can share with us today, or is that not been completed yet, or?
So as far as it goes, right now, what we're doing is we did a look back at most popular trail systems based on our trail data from our trail team. So we took those areas and we did a 6-month look back and collected all the devices. And so it doesn't give anybody's information. It's all by device ID. Everybody has a unique device ID. So, and it puts it all like in a spreadsheet. And then we take that and we extracted the market that we're trying to pinpoint. And so we're going after the Front Range. The Front Range has become our kind of, our focus because they're our repeat customers.
Sure.
And the visitors that come through, you know, those are wonderful, but the repeat customer that can get to know our communities and come up here and continuously spend revenue, I think we have found to be kind of our niche market. And we have a lot of new residents in the Front Range, so we market them. And we mail visitor guides to them. For instance, our visitor guide, that's a 44-page magazine. Can gift that to a qualified visitor for less than $1, printed and shipped.
That's awesome.
So it cost me about 46 cents to produce it, and then 26 cents to mail it.
That's really cool.
And so then we'll retarget them. So we'll say, okay, we mailed visitor guides to this qualified zip code this year. So then we're going to check the trails data to say, okay, this registers against this. So we're gonna send them additional advertising, and that's hit through, you know, whether they're on 9 News or they're on, you know, Exploring Expedia, or they're on, you know, different websites. It also comes through, if you're listening to Pandora, and your ad will pop up there, or it'll come through different ways to market those specific people based on their device size. It's fascinating.
I can keep going that all day.
I know.
But I love like numbers. No, I think that's really cool. If there was a way that you would be able or willing to get us some of that information, like as it comes in for, you know, our trails and what we can do to support that mission. I think that would be a really valuable partnership for the town and the great tour, and not just for our community. I think all of the municipalities would really benefit from that information. That's super cool. So thank you for telling us about that.
Well, I just want to say thank you too. I know you and I have been talking and going to lunch to kind of explore these things, and you've done a great job, and it's exciting to see your ideas, what you have done in the past, bringing some of those things back, being more involved here and invested in Georgetown is just refreshing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'll leave you with one more thing. We are going to bring back the printed 12x18 event calendar that was posted all over town. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it. Some people are like, what did you do? And basically it's a 12x18 and it's small print, but it lists every event that's happening basically from October through end of January or end of December. So, you know, I was looking at your website. I need the Hamel House, you know, festivities that are coming up. I need a rough draft of anything you have. If you have a date and a name, I need just mass exodus of any information you have, you know, any R game, ice racing stuff, anything we can put on there to kind of get that ready. What we do is we circulate it countywide, so it goes from Silver Plume to Idaho Springs and into Evergreen, and you know, far as we can, north, south, east, west, and just try to get people to understand that there's something to do in all of our communities throughout the winter seasons.
What are you printing?
Well, I'll print it as soon as I get it all together, so.
So you do ASAP.
Yep. And I do a lot of digging, like, I was excited to hear about the haunted Hamel House event that's coming up. It sounds exciting. I found that on Eventbrite one night, and, you know, so however we can work together on that, and I'd love to help that. And then I don't know if there is a point person that I can work with on, you know, possibly attending some of our board meetings, and just kind of creating that connectivity.
Well, yeah, I would like to do that.
Okay.
That sounds like something that would work well for me. And also always utilize Fireman's calendar. It's not always 100%. I try to add it as I get the small amount of information, but it's usually fairly accurate if you can pull from there also. But I'll definitely get you a more complete list. But I would like to or be part of it, in, you know, if that's a possibility. I filled out the form once before, but it kind of went by the wayside. I'm not sure what happened to it. There was like a form you could fill out to like nominate yourself to a board somewhere.
Okay, I'll find it, Jen. If you did it, I'll find it.
But yeah, I mean, and I think if that's an option for me.
And how just so you know, the process, it's changed a little bit with the commissioner. So we have an application that we send that, and then have you attend the board meeting with the Tourism Bureau.
Okay.
And then if it's a good fit, which I'm sure will be, then we'll send a letter requesting your appointment to the commissioners. They have a separate questionnaire to fill out.
Okay.
And then they schedule an interview with you, and then it's like a two-week process for them to deliberate, and then
Clearly didn't happen.
eventually, then it's a resolution to appoint you under the terms, and then you get to do it again in two more years. Like,
Is that application still in the same place the initial one?
I will just resend it to you,
Okay.
and I'll see if I have it
That
too.
sounds great. Yeah, see if you have the one I did, or the one I did for shoot.
Also, Cass, if you have time to, and I know you're a very busy person, but we're actually doing a town business mixer on the 19th of October at 5:30. If you were able to attend, that would be fabulous. And I think that would be a really great thing for us to maybe talk about the launch of the potential Sixth Street project.
Mhm.
So, because you will, hopefully we'll have people from Sixth Street there. And maybe we can set as a talking point to get people to come, because I think we're trying to kind of get everyone together. We haven't done this before COVID. So it's at the old school, not the Heritage Center. I never say it right. I will never say it right.
I know, I saw it the other day, I was like, oh, James.
Yeah. Like the Heritage Center. So, you know, you can find it great.
Okay, that sounds awesome, and
I'll have to see the email, I'm gonna send out an email, invite today for that next round.
okay. Yeah, but, and as far as like, you know, if the ballot measure passes, and if all of this happens, if the ballot measure passes for the county, or if it passes for the town, or one or the other, or all together, you know, I would like to have some kind of work session, if that is even a conversation at that point, to get, you know, either one-on-one and more granular with those that the power will be, or, you know, figure out what that looks like moving forward, because the landscape of tourism is changing across the board come January 1. It's not just, you know, our little, you know, snow globe of a place, it's everywhere. And so I just want to make sure that, you know, we work together with our towns and our leaders and our stakeholders, to make sure that we're kind of in unity, and figure out how we're going to navigate this. So, I don't know it all. So I need to go.
The next month is gonna be a very interesting month for everybody, and we see what unfolds, but absolutely, we will make that happen.
Cool. Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. That was a really awesome. If you would email us.
It's not
that
bad.
information, that
Oh.
would be fine. Cass, do you have?
Thank you.
Email us that?
Yeah, I'd be happy
Thank
to.
you so much. Next thing on the agenda, I am not gonna be on there, so my. topic,
No, you're good.
national government. Oh, statement.
I did do more for it, sorry.
Thank you for catching that. National Sport Landmark District. Whoops. I didn't have this, we did that. So,
Sorry, Steve, get it back.
why is it down there? And what are the things? I was trying to- that in the gen, you can probably access to the. The board is- representation, not necessarily from the landmark district, but fire mitigations and the Christmas tree. You know,
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about that too.
yeah, can you elaborate on that? Because you-
Well, yeah, so the fire authority, the forest service are working together up at Silverdale. They're gonna tag trees that people can cut down. So they want the town, and then the town, it's on town land, so we would get the money to be like a fundraiser. And so either business promotion or Parks and Rec promoting it. I mean, however you guys want to do it.
Yeah, their recommendation was like, here's a great idea for you guys to be a recommended. And how you figure out how you might want to do this, and it's not just this year, this would be a multi-year project, so it might be. Not off the ground completely this first year, but it would be a start, and then, of course, there's only a certain season for Christmas tree anyway.
Cool a timber. Go cut your own Christmas tree in the forest and then come to Georgetown and do Christmas Day.
And they're willing to, participate to a certain degree as far as, you know, monitoring once they leave with the tree, kind of, you know, to make sure that they're taking the correct tree, what number they've taken, and whatever the payment would be something more along the lines of how the town would set that up.
I think so.
Like, I know when you go,
Because the trees need to come down, one way or the other, these trees at some point need to come down sooner as opposed to later, so why not make something, they said they're like 6-7 foot trees are ideal for, you know.
Yeah, sounded really cool.
Yeah, they really did.
for multiple.
Yeah,
But you know, so like we normally would go to, like, my family, and we buy permit through Forest Service, and we go, but you have designated times and weekends, you can go out there, and you actually go through like a checkpoint, like, when you're leaving,
That's what they would help set up would be the checkpoint. But
and they check your, to make sure that the tree you took, you have to wrap your tag around the front of the tree. And then as you pull your out, they check you, and if you take, that you like top the tree or you did something bad, then you get a very great out. And you're banned from cutting trees for like. Yeah.
It's really easy. As long as you're in a national forest, you can, as long as you pay that fee,
Yeah.
you can cut your tree anywhere. It's just the heavily populated ones, like this would be, that have those set points. A lot of that, when there was a car accident going into the heavily populated, basically, they were like, don't anywhere. Let them check, sure, so people will cut them down, where that's why not, the point is that checkpoint is there, heavily populated, and that's what they do with this one.
And they would be tagging the trees too. So we don't just go to the tree, you have to only go to a tree that's in, yeah, I didn't.
So you have a specific tree that you're like that to go with.
then you go in and decide which can of tree that we can take that. And then the checkpoint would be, you know, and so this is kind of new to them too, to have this, but because it's on town property. It's an opportunity for us. Granted, it's an opportunity for us that we need to kind of get our act together on quickly so that we could roll it out.
When would we want to start?
Are those the ones that are green? And so we're gonna, there's some trees that just have a green splash on them.
This is just kind of preliminary to us too, so.
So the things we have to determine are, when we want to start this, who the benefactor is of this revenue. And how we'll manage it and market it, is that our mission? It's
pretty much the whole show.
Say,
But why wouldn't we want to financially gain from it?
yeah,
And, I mean, there are, so, you know, but it's gonna take some doing, however, with their, you know, cooperation and some manpower from them, and they're not even quite sure how they can support that either. But we do have contact information.
yes, Jeremy Jones is the assistant fire chief. So you would call the Clear Creek Fire Authority, you know, well, that's all I know.
so as far as the benefactor, we don't need to make the determination today, do this next meeting, but like my initial thought would be like Strauss refurbishment, because that's where our tree lives. And to like improve the Christmas spirit, I don't know.
I don't know, but it has to be just one spot, and it could be a combination between, you know, BBC and parks. I mean, it's still the top right now. So, but so my take would be that Jen needs to contact and follow up with what's his name?
Jeremy Jones, assistant
And-
fire chief.
And gather as much information and try to put together a preliminary plan so that we've got that to discuss at our next meeting, and we can tweak it a bit and hopefully move on. I mean, it's gonna be a limited time.
Do we have any financial responsibilities to like pay someone to manage checkpoint?
The tree things even in just the now, where I did a quick search is from the 26th of November to the 20th of December. Just for, and
I think there's.
I feel like the 26th is kind of late, but that's a general recommendation.
But if we get this information now, and we're discussing it at our November meeting, then we're in a position where. Well, we can roll it.
Unless Jeremy, when you talk to him, say otherwise, you know, oh, we just started this time.
The trees to go away. I'll find out all the details. So Jeremy Jones, assistant fire chief. You have a second for
No, but you can look up the fire authorities.
Okay.
Maybe you should, let's see, first, what, about the legality of the tree down in the, and maybe the sea area, it's different than in the wilderness areas of the west.
Administrator report.
Okay. Well, first thing is, I haven't heard, but there's a family of moose that are in on the Mel Pass right now. And they're past Cabin Creek, and it opens up to a field, a meadow, and that's where they've been for the last week or so. We went there last night, we saw all three. And it was terrifying, to be honest. They go. And they got probably close to me to you, Paul.
That's too bad.
I don't know if it's car, so I'm not counting, but it would have been, yeah, ready to punch it. But it was fascinating, but. You can hear the grunt, you can hear.
Out of their heart is getting way too big.
It is, I don't know how much loses them.
But I didn't, but it's, you should go, you know, time, and the evening is where I've heard it's best because they're kind of crazy. And, we also saw deer. It was just, I mean, amazing night last night. We were like, oh my gosh, this is New Jersey. So, now, especially now, this is one. You can see it all. Yeah. So that's just one, just to remind you, graffiti's been removed, so I just want to bring that up. We have more than I thought, but some of you guys, I see it, but, me and Kevin kind of went through and we have this special wipes that you can scrub really hard and you get good, you know, muscle aches, but, it works. The wayfind signs from House of Signs have been restored, so I've done that. They look great, so, with that, a little issue, not necessarily, maybe issue is a strong word, but, challenges has come about. Kent Stewart has contacted House of Signs and asked them if they can add capital prize to that sign. While I was away, out of town, House of Signs contacted me and said, do you guys want to do this? And I said, that's not my call. That should be brought back to you guys for that decision.
Yeah, that's, we can't promote individual businesses. It's a tricky thing, we're business promotions, but we cannot, promote, individual businesses. So we have to create an atmosphere for commerce.
And I think they're, right, for them, this is where everyone put that the honest exception, and people know it's a tax.
That was also.
So the Georgetown though is a. It's managed by historical.
It's a state park, the park owns, Georgia, the park is owned in land by the History of Colorado. And it's concession through a percentage, it's a very specific contract with a private entity. We always use that as a default. But it is very specific, nonprofit, beneficial organization that benefits the National Historic Landmark District because of the large portion of the NHLD. Actually, we probably should. Yeah.
So that's a privately owned business, that's a.
Yeah, I am aware of that. I did bring it to our board and we talked about it, but I just wanted you to be aware of that. And at the same time, House of Signs did conclude that the sign do not have room for that either, so they would have to relook completely.
Almost did, so this person live on it, he took it upon himself to contact them about his own business on Comcast.
Oh,
Well, I hear you. And so what I did was send over an email to them saying that, that is not how we do things in Georgetown. They have to come back. I mean, it's gotta go through the DRC for approval, it's gotta come here for your offers. I mean, there's a lot
The
of.
audacity is insane to me, right?
But I just wanted to say there are
These have businesses that need to be on site.
I know.
well, doesn't figure over that, you get a lot of work you better.
Yes.
It's just around. It's. The good news is it's not gonna happen. Yeah, move on.
Always, you know.
Let's see, a couple other things. I have submitted my goals to the board and they're in a process of actually evaluating my performance. And so greatly we take calls and letters to encourage our. But you know, the comment I was going to say, is, I have submitted my goals. My number one goal for this from now until next year is to improve our roads. And that's going to be something that is daunting, but we're going to try to slowly make some major improvements that you can see and can see. Well, roads and drainage is our two issues. And so, we're going to be repaving Rose Street from 11th to 15th. It's an area where there's a, you know, it's where the mill site is. And there's just a lot of issues in that area. And so we're going to be doing some corrections in that area. Bridge resurfacing, that's.
What's he saying? I'm sorry.
He says he has to drop in a minute or two. I think he wants to say something, right, Steve? Or you're leaving, is that what you mean?
Yeah, no, I have to leave. I've got a hard stop. I apologize.
Okay, thank you.
So all of our roads, all of our bridges will be resurfaced this, you know, coming up year. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it'll be before the year ends, so it's already budgeted for this year. 22nd Street approaches will also be done. So that's gonna be expensive, but we're making sure that it's engineered and have the smaller, it's engineered properly. Is it saying? It's the areas where the bridges stop and they drop off, eroding.
Are we maybe releasing the road? I'm not gonna make any kind of statement.
Well, yes and no. Some areas we're having to resurface because of running problems.
So, okay.
Yeah, and potholes in that area.
Yep.
This next upcoming year, we're gonna kind of prioritize all our roads and see which ones are, you know, some of our hillside roads, these are issues, but it's bigger than just regrading them. Some of them, the previous administrators have decided to pave certain parts of it, and now it's deteriorated so bad that we can't regrade it. So we may have to have road millage in it and actually removing all that. So it's not an easy fix for our hillside roads, but we're gonna try to address those, some of these. And then recurving all downtown. We're gonna be going back and addressing the curves where they're damaged, broken, and we're trying to focus on beautifying this area. I heard you loud and clear when I first came on, that there's some things that, you know, the town's been neglected, and we're really gonna focus on this. I would also say, in my discussions with, business owners, visitors, like I love, one of my favorite things to do is when I got to pull my hair out and just go outside and just talk to people. And, you know, welcome them to the town, but hear from them, and what I've heard frequently is, hey, is there a place where I can see where things are? And you said something that really made me curious, but like, what if we could create some signage that said, exploring Georgetown, and show them shops, or what kinds of shops are here? Here's our trails, so people they can see a sign, see a QR code or something, they can pull it up, and it'd be so intricate, but it'd be connected. So if you're at the lake, what if we have a sign, with exploring Georgetown, and then they can see what's here, and they would, here's our restaurant, they would see what that is. So I'm curious about that, and if we were to move forward with, the lodging tax, I would love to see that create some of that stuff. And be real strategic areas, like the visitors center, there's so many people there, what if we can create something there, so people know exactly, they can look on the sign, or see a QR code that pops up. Oh, so these are thoughts of hearing people, the business owners, walking down and talking to people. There always, is there a place, where can I see? So,
There's been a lot of discussions in the years I've done in Houston about different options for wayfinding. I know that you have been around for many of them too. And so there's been different, like, at one point when we were doing like a Strauss Park, we, like the old Strauss Park Creek Camping Crew. One of the conceptual ideas was to have some signage in Strauss Park, similar to the European style thing, like I don't know what you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, that.
you were.
And another thing that came up, and I honestly don't know what happened to it, because I wasn't sure that it would be a conversation for Steve, is monitors. Do you remember the monitor conversation?
We were talking about ours. One of the big ones about this, I think this is one of the issues.
There was a conversation about installing basically monitors, one at the loop, one at UBC, one like at the community center. The lake was ruled out mostly because nobody got the monitor in the walls. Would not be monitored, would be gone. But the VC, the community center, because you know, the Georgetown microtown. Yeah, we have one there. Okay. But I'm gonna chime in and say, I think we just need mall maps in all of our communities. We need mall map.
Yeah.
Where you are here and here's a list of the businesses and stuff.
That was the conversation that you and I had, let's say, but
Yeah.
Because she at 10:06, what I think we should do is add a business that I want for the next meeting, and then we're gonna do conglomeration piece of BRC that is involved.
I have one reservation about listening shops. The true is so frequent with Sixth Street, we were just talking about it, and maybe we don't put specific shop names, so we just say, shops, restaurants, EVs. Because there's, until we reach a point of stability with all of our businesses, where they're here for many years, it would just outdate that document really fast. So just a word of caution.
If we digitize it though.
Yeah.
I just thought, I'm sorry, no, you could just thought of going into that as like, this is nothing final, it's just, I'm hearing that you so.
No, they're good, they're wonderful thoughts, and I'm willing to have a discussion with anybody who wants to talk to me about it, about joining forces. Joining forces, one of the things that's happening with the Colorado-based first office, the Welcome Center, it's a little people arts and groups. They're all getting kiosks this year. I've been wanting kiosks for about a decade now, but the funding might be available with a matching grant for something like that. And if we do it ourselves, we can target it to the larger state organization. You can use some of what Cass has been doing with, and I've joined CARES, obviously, our CARES Colorado. We can use that wildlife department, and we might be able to get a bunch of different, that's where we're going to start off. And then place one of those, but there's not anything that would be actually more effective than a television screen, but we can see television screen whenever you want to. I mean, I can work with somebody that either, if we get before Black Friday, we can just put something up there and figure out what we're gonna put on, and it's gonna be a matter of doing the graphics for it. The other one is geocaching, as Catherine mentioned, or geomapping, as Catherine mentioned, has become even scarier further. And we talked about in the past with the trust trying to get a grant for a historic interpretation tour based on geofencing, and actually one going into the mountainside, but with the National Historic Landmarks District. However, it might be beneficial if we can create a town animal. It's easier to do, look at that in 10 minutes. Just kidding. But it might be beneficial for wayfinding for people, since I think last time I checked the data was like 10 years ago that 80% of the population has smartphones. That's increased, and since COVID has increased, people are more used to using the away honeymoon than they were in the past. So honeymoon is sort of, anybody can sort of try to do that, but I believe it's time that the grant season is coming up. It's time to start, if we're gonna do that stuff, start getting it together, and we can piggyback on like work Catherine's already done and use that, but then add some local things that you were just talking about. Thank you very much.
Well, I'll agree on that for sure. I mean, I'm sort of taking the time, because I have been a partner, but I need to do a project in various previous roles. So I'm happy to work with both of you to try to figure out how to.
Wait, no, he's not done, because one of your other goals is, no, it's a good thing, one of your other goals is the economic development, how to get that goal. Was your, and you kind of started on this, as far as the downtown stretch, so just in a minute.
Yes. So bridges, roads, one, economic development, and how to think strategically about what is missing in Georgetown. So going after those kinds of complementing of businesses that would do really well, but going after that targeting kind of thing. And making it such a place where people want to be here. And so part of that would also be doing some business incentives. So I did some of this in Brush and it was really successful, but like we could be doing some of these things, but it's working in concert with our board and understanding what can we do with some of the tax increment financing and those kind of things. Water, sewer, TIF plan investment fees that we can reduce up to a certain point. I mean, there's a lot of other ways that we can do to come in and work together, but that was the second one. The third one is looking at the lake for paid parking and generating funds so that we can put towards other things that we could agree upon. Maintenance and so forth, trash removal, parks, trails management. I mean, so all the burden is on us, we don't have the staff to do anything. So anyways, these things we're looking at, we're not saying all paid parking, but we're looking at it because we're not getting anything, but we're taking advantage heavily on all of it. And having certain places free, your free parking always wants to be the furthest away because it's, economy. Your luxury is what you should pay for convenience. So these are things we're looking at, considering, but that's a goal for us.
For our next agenda, if we could put on, wayfinding, paid parking, and then there's some conversation that happens about economic development and some strategies prior to your, hire that I would love to revamp and restart, because they kind of got stalled with staffing. Jen and I met with Lindsay Valdez, who runs CCDC. And it was basically, we were kind of working on like a business mentorship program, but it was stalled primarily on the fact that we didn't exist yet. We were like, we were not a town administrator, so we sort of manage what over it. It was in March, so we didn't know who you were. So I think those are the goals for next month's event. And then the 2023 budget review, I'm sorry, not. I have TSA. It's very, too, I really want to support that. The 2023 budget review, I submitted a budget that is almost identical to last year's budget, because we don't know the scope of what will happen. So there's no, the budget is related to Mary Sims, it is literally like a pilot piece with some very slight market rate adjustments for the banners coming off. I left some revenue for signage, and then I added in, I think, $2,000 dividends that it was like, if we get it, thank you so much. So, so that is the. Speaker, any questions? I appreciate you guys very much. I do think it's important in this meeting just to like make it known that while we still support visual promotions, we don't intend to share. I will finish my. Huh? Oh, I think once you're on, I will continue, I will support PPC, I will stay on. As stay on as an alternate or even as a voting member possibly. But I think we have to be bigger about another chair. I've thrown some things out there, I will not say more, but I think it's important that it's on the record. So that we can all start making plans, but I will not at the end of this and let it just fall. January. But I think it's, I only would have 3 meetings left after this. So I just, pardon?
What are your thoughts? What are you thinking?
I can't say, I won't say right now, but I just think it needs to be in the record that I can't share it. I adore this group and I adore the town, but I have to, I don't want, especially if the ballot measure comes through, with all the things that you have and all the things that we have, I really, the money has to get managed. And I don't think I can look for it, but that is amazing, and the person who's running the school doing a fabulous job, but she needs my support. To get her through, and it's, like, the amount of time I'm spending doing school board stuff is like 15 years. I'm sure they're valuable members of this section, and I hope that you stay on. I will still remember, I was in a support role of some sort, because I'm happy to send it's like a mentor or to oversee. Ad hoc committee, but this seat needs to go to someone who has the bandwidth. That will still be the 4th of July, so. I was still.
You're gifted as you love your staff, as you part of the team.
I appreciate it very much. I think it was the meeting like for this way you to be able to like not feel like, I need to be able to see this.
No.
It's just for my own family.
Awesome.
Okay, minutes?
It's 10:15.
Minutes?
Motion to approve minutes. I felt moved to do that.
Second.
All in favor? It's 10:16. I don't. Thank you.
Supervisor, 7 o'clock Friday, 3/8 Friends Library. For annual meeting.
Yeah.